Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. As fresh ceasefire talks are set to take place in London, Ukraine finds itself at the centre of complex diplomacy involving the US, UK, France and, of course, Ukraine itself. The meeting in London on the 23rd of April will be the second after Paris. Discussions are expected to include Crimea and other occupied territories, NATO and the possibility of creating demilitarised zones. The stakes for Ukraine are incredibly high. Today we are joined by Yuriy Kamelchuk. He's a Ukrainian Member of Parliament and a PACE delegate, to unpack Ukraine's position, its red lines and what it hopes the West will do next to ensure a just and lasting peace. Welcome, Sir, to TVP World. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Good evening. Thank you for joining me.
Good evening. Good evening. So, what are our expectations from that meeting, which starts in London tomorrow?
At the beginning, I need to say that Ukraine appreciates diplomacy, but not at the cost of sovereignty. So we're talking about that we are open to any discussions about the just and lasting peace. But of course, there cannot be any proposals about annexation of Crimea or of another territories which are our Ukrainian territories, actually. So, of course, we need to say that now London talks, peace talks in London must be, and some ongoing efforts to resolve the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and I hope US will help in this process, and London talks which will show new sides on this problem, because Russia, that we can see, don't want any peace.
Well, OK, I mean, there's a lot there to unpack. Let's start with the US proposal. Some say that it is basically suggesting that Ukraine give up Crimea and the occupied territories become demilitarised. Now, you just laid out that that is simply unacceptable to Ukraine, but it also seems to be unacceptable to Russia, who refused to demilitarise. So we're at an impasse, aren't we? We're stuck between a rock and a hard place. What can we do?
Okay, first of all, any recognition of the 2014 annexation of Crimea or Ukraine's exclusion from NATO will institutionalize Russian war goals. So actually, this is not diplomacy. This is like capitulation is disguised as negotiation. And the suggestion to exclude Ukraine from NATO membership and to solidify current battle lines rewards aggression, actually, Putin's aggressions. About neutral zones, what can we say? It needs deeper analysis, especially around Zaporizhzhia, because Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is not technical facility. It's a strategic energy infrastructure vital to Ukraine's national security and economical stability.
What is your view of President Trump and his envoys' approach to these negotiations when it comes to talking to Putin and his government?
Well, this peace plan actually, I think, omits key Russian obligations. No mention of Russian withdrawal from occupied territories. No any mechanism for accountability, justice, or reparations. Peace without security guarantees, actually, it's not a pause. It's something like it's just a pause for gaining power of Russian army. So it's not a resolution. Ceasefire without withdrawal any troops. It's like occupation under new name. Actually, what can I say?
Understood. Now, the other countries taking part in these talks. What are your expectations from them?
You mean key partners, our key partners?
I mean,
yes?
France and the UK, yes.
Of course, first of all, we need to say that we appreciate any support from our international partners, but we need to hear a more loud voice from them, and not only something like any seminars or another forum or something like this. We need concrete decisions about gaining power of Ukrainian army, about Danish model of weapon production, about air defense system for Ukraine, and about, of course, future troops from our European partners inside the Ukraine. Not even in the front line, of course, maybe at the beginning, but I hope in the future they will help more than UN troops in different points of world in other time.
Understood. I mean, although the UK and France have been rather more supportive than perhaps other countries in Europe, do you think they should be doing more, or are you referring to countries like Germany, for example, which has often been criticised for its slow response?
Of course, we criticized Germany. Sometimes it was about, of course, France and other smaller countries in Europe, and of course about US, because we're not getting all that we expected in time. About Germany, we hope that new prime minister, new chancellor will be fastest than his previous colleague, and I hope that all the parties in Germany will understand that we cannot keep any agreement with Russia in serious way. We understand that they can change their mind anytime, and if we are talking about this Easter ceasefire, so we saw so many strikes during those days. Maybe, of course, less than before, but it's not the peace.
It's not peace. So, in terms of action on the ground, you mentioned boots. You mentioned soldiers in Ukraine. What else would you like to see? What is there in particular in terms of equipment, or perhaps the setting up of manufacturing facilities within Ukraine? What ideally does your picture look like?
Okay, ideal picture, it's about 200,000 troops, 200,000 military troops inside Ukraine. So this quantity can help in a real way, can help Ukraine to change our soldiers, to send them to the hospitals, to the families, to take some rest. And because maybe this quantity, about 300,000 or 400,000 between this quantity, now are on the front line in Ukraine, and they fighting with Russians. So about the equipment, of course, I hope that they will have all the equipment that they need, and I hope they will have also additional air defense systems, because there is still not enough in Ukraine, not only for civilians but also for militaries.
Understood. Well, we'll be watching very carefully to see what happens at this conference, which starts on the 23rd. Mr. Kamelchuk, thank you very much indeed for sharing your analysis with our audience. Have a good evening, sir.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. And that brings us to the end of this episode of World Talks. Goodbye.